Hi everyone, this is just a quick video to describe the Care Research CQC Feedback Surveys, show you what we do, how we can support you, and show you our Care Surveys platform as well. As you may know, at Care Research, we will run the whole survey process for you. So we create the surveys, we run them on our Care Surveys platforms, which you can have access to, and we create the CQC feedback evidence documents for you as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the end. I want to show you what our outputs are so you know what you will receive if you work with us. So as you probably know, we will run surveys for the people you support and their families, your staff, and your professional partners as well. And typically we do 2 sets of surveys per year. So we'll do 2 resident or people you support and family surveys, 2 staff surveys, and 2 partner surveys. And the output documents look something like this. These are our kind of front-facing PDF documents. You can see the question is pinned to the quality statement, to the evidence category. In this case, it's people's experiences. So it's going to be the people you support and families. And then we also have the key question as well. We've given people 4 answer options, 1 to 4. That means that we can create a 1 to 4 score, which is just like the CQC rating. What we typically have is 1 to 1.9 is inadequate, 2 to 2.9 is requires improvement, 3 to 3.5 is good, and then 3.6 and above is an outstanding rating. And again, there's some comparison text. You can see a description of the scores and the results overall. And then there's a comparison here. We've got here relative respondent scored 3.3, client respondent scored 3.2. Obviously, you can use whichever terminology you wish to use there. This is obviously an example for residents and families. If you had a staff survey, it might be healthcare assistants scored 3.1, registered nurses scored 3.2, management and leadership scored. So we will have that comparison based upon the type of respondent. At the end of each survey, we give people an option, at the end of each question, we give people an option to leave a comment. And again, we can see here, we've got a selection of those comments as well. You can see there's comments at the bottom of each question document too. One thing I would say is we can select the comments. Some services like to have a range of comments. Others just want to have specifically positive. We'll work with you to put the right comments on there on the front-facing document. There's then a space for you, the service, to respond, to say, okay, this is what we're going to do following these results, or we're proud of these, we think it's because of X, Y, and Z. It's a space for you to kind of put your response to what's on the PDF document. So as we said, we will typically provide a set of these for each survey. So you'll have a set of these for the resident family or purpose you support and family, a set of these for staff, and a set of these for partners. We also present you the full quotes. As we said earlier, we might put up to 6 on the PDF, but we'll send the full quotes to you. Again, you can see here, this is just for one question. You have multiple question tabs down here. See this example, my care works for me. You can see the key question, the quality statement. You can then see in this case, we've got a resident comments. You can see green is positive, yellow is mixed to neutral, red is negative. And then we've got the family comments the same here. And again, if it was staff, it might be that you have, healthcare assistant set, and then a registered nurse set, and then a management set, whatever your individual role types are. And then finally, you'll also receive the scores. So again, you can see here, we've got the family scores, we've got the scores for each question. Again, they're color coded in terms of good, outstanding, RI, or inadequate. You've got, in this case, resident, it could be person you support scores, and we've got the combined scores as well. And again, we do the same for staff. So those are essentially the documents that we provide for you. Essentially, we typically have a total of 30 of these for residents and families across the year, 30 of these for staff, and usually around 10 to 12 for partners, because there's less questions for partners because there's not as many quality statements. We also do the partner survey as a freebie. We don't charge you for that because we know it can be a bit tricky to get partners in. So we don't kind of want to create a survey for you that then doesn't get the responses you need. Now, let me show you the surveys themselves. I'm just going to share my screen again to make sure we've got all the settings that we need. So you will have the opportunity to access our Care Surveys platform. So our surveys are all hosted on our Care Surveys platform. You do not have to get involved. If you want us to just set the surveys up, run them, create the documents, and you just kind of leave it alone, that's completely fine. But you will have access to the surveys platform if you wish to kind of look at your results in real time. So you log yourself in. We've got an example account here. We can see we've got a resident survey, a staff survey, and a partner survey. One of the cool things that we do at Care Research is we have what we call variant surveys. And this means that we can have multiple versions of the same survey. So typically we use it for residents or people you support. If we click on the variants, we can see we've got a family version, we've got a PECS version, a Makaton version, a simplified text version. What that basically means is that we've got multiple versions of the same survey. I'll show you what they look like in a moment, but multiple versions with multiple ways of answering the questions and asking the questions, but they're all feeding back to these same central documents, these same central scores. So even though we've got these different survey types for the different people you support, they're all going back to the same survey data. Now, let me just show you what the surveys look like. So this is our standard non-accessible standard text survey for people you support or residents. And you can see here, it's quite wordy. We've got, if you've got a region, you can select which region you are, which specific home you are. Again, obviously not relevant for all services. We can see the first question. Staff are kind, compassionate, and empathetic towards me. We can see you've got strongly agree, 4 stars, agree is 3 stars, disagree is 2, strongly disagree is 1. If you click a positive answer, like a 3 or a 4 star, it's going to ask you what's going well. If you select a negative answer, a disagree or a strongly disagree, it's going to ask how could the service improve. And again, we can change those prompt questions if you want it to be asked in a different way. This way, there's an option for people to leave feedback, to write a comment. I love it here. Oh, great if I could spell it correctly. I love it here. There we go. So it gives people an opportunity to give that comment and that feedback. We can see here a family question, staff treat my relative with dignity and respect. So we can see it's the same question, but this has been asked from the perspective of a relative. So this would be the family version of the survey. We then have our accessible survey. So we've first got our simplified text, staff are kind. You can see yes or no. If you click a yes answer, it's a 4-point score. And so it comes through as a 4-point answer. If you click no, it's a 1-point, a strongly disagree answer. So even though there's only 2 answer options, they're still feeding back to the 1 to 4 scoring. They're still contributing to that final score. Then we have our PECS surveys.
Care staff respect me. Select yes or no.
So again, people can select yes or no for those questions. And we have our Makaton surveys.
I am listened to. Yes or no.
And as well as having those Makaton videos, we also have standard Makaton or standard videos, sorry, that don't include the Makaton kind of sign language and hand language. We do have videos that don't have that too. One other feature that I just wanted to show you about the surveys. I need to turn my camera off for this. If we go to any of the surveys and we go to the end, obviously we can have it so it's set to answer the question, but just for the example, we skip through it. What you'll see here, would you like to leave a video message? I'm going to click yes. If I click start camera, it's going to open up the camera on my device, and here I am. I can now record a video. I love it here at the home. It's great. People are really kind and supportive. It's a really fun atmosphere. People are really kind to me. I feel really well cared for. So again, what we're doing, you can then watch back that video. You can play it back. You can redo the recording, or you can submit it. Now, that feature was developed essentially to support individuals with learning disabilities to give comment and to give their own views without the need to perhaps write or type. What we've found since launching this feature back in January is that a lot of services wanted it as a universal feature for the people they support, whether they had learning disabilities or not, and to apply to family surveys and even staff surveys. So we can add this video record question to all of your surveys, meaning that you get this kind of really engaging way of capturing the real life experiences of those you support. Great for you to be able to download, make a little video out of, share on your website, share on your social media. So it's a great way of not just supporting everyone to give their view, but also of you as a service to collect some really valuable talking heads about your service. Right, I'm going to switch my camera back on. Here I am. One last thing I want to quickly show you is that you are able to explore the results of your survey. So obviously you can see the number of responses here as you log in. We can see the total number of responses. If we click on the responses tab, we go to our Survey Explorer. Now, Survey Explorer really simply is exactly what it says on the tin. It shows you all of the responses for your survey. So we can see here, we're looking at the individual responses here. We can see the responses they've made. We can see any comments they've left. We can click through and look at each individual respondent if we wish. We can also look at the responses by question. So for example, I might want to look at the number of responses for each home. And I can see, okay, right, we've got 88 for Zedamania, 14 for April Lodge, okay, 5 for Walnut Place. So I know which ones I need to give another bit of a push on, for example. I can also look at where my scores are. Okay, so for this question, I'm currently at a 3.8, which is an outstanding. These are the results that we've received. These are all the individual scores. These are all the individual comments. It is an opportunity for you to explore that data in real time, to look at your results, to look at your scores. There are, of course, filters. You might just want to look at the family survey, in which case you can get rid of all these. You might want to look between different dates and look at the results between a certain week, for example. Or you might want to filter by question, for example, which home do you live in? Well, actually, I just want to look at the Walnut Place results. And there we go. It's now just showing me the Walnut Place results and scores. So this is an opportunity for you to explore the data in real time. We will still create the evidence documents. We'll still do all of that work for you, but you have the Survey Explorer there to look at the data in real time, to explore the data as the surveys are open. And when you're happy, when you're ready, we will then create those evidence documents for you, usually within around about a 10 working day kind of turnaround period. Okay, hopefully that's answered all your questions. If you want to get in touch, if you have any more questions about the feedback surveys or about how we can support us, just email research@careresearch.co.uk.